But this Offset dude, I ain't gonna leave him out. I'm just real like this, because, you know, niggas be throwing rocks and hiding their hand, right? They be throwing rocks and hiding their hand. And I don't like them kind of individuals, and the truth of the matter is, one can dance and different things in front of these different cameras and all that kind of shit. And when reality, the truth of the matter is, nigga, you wasn't really right there with Takeoff when he was alive. You know what I mean? So for you to be taking these positions that you taking, you know what I mean? And I got people everywhere, so I hear all kinds of things. I'm going to just say this to you. Don't never put me in no position where, I have to defend myself. You know what I mean? That wouldn't be healthy for you.
It's been just over 3 months since the death of Takeoff, and yesterday, Quavo gave a heartfelt tribute at the Grammys, as Migos fans are still deeply in mourning. Now yesterday, Jay Prince, the founder of Rap Law Records, essentially the top general of Houston, made an appearance on $1 Million Worth of Game featuring Gillian Wallow, and addressed his stance on the Takeoff situation, considering it happened under his watch while the Migos were in his city and with his son. Jay Prince mentioned that him and Pierre Thomas, known as P from QC, Quality Control Music, spoke about the Takeoff situation and had a mutual understanding and were seeing eye to eye. Let's be real. Everyone who's been waiting for him to address this Takeoff situation wants to know, why did this happen and who's responsible for Takeoff's death? Now we understand that most of these guys are involved in the streets and nobody is going to talk. But what we don't understand is, why was Takeoff not protected? Jay Prince essentially threatened Offset over a few things said about him. And personally, Offset wasn't wrong. Takeoff died in their hands.
Hey, first off, y'all niggas my real brother. I don't know what y'all niggas got, what the fuck nigga got going on. Y'all niggas speaking on my real brother. How dare one of y'all niggas speak on me and Tate relationship, nigga? I don't know you, nigga. A can of paint, nigga. Y'all nigga don't know how me and my brother rock, nigga. You trying to clear your face, nigga. This your 5th interview, nigga. You done did about my brother, nigga. You ain't think about his mama. You ain't think about the family, nigga. We ain't said nothing. Ain't nobody said nothing but you niggas. You niggas, man, who y'all nigga think y'all nigga is? John got it, nigga. Ain't nobody going for none of that, bro. I ain't studying none of that shit talking about either. And if you heard something from me, I'ma tell you it's gonna come from me. Call my phone. Y'all nigga going off of he say, she say. Then y'all nigga supposed to be this is who y'all supposed to be. And y'all nigga on interviews and it out on an interview talking about I said that. Nigga, call my phone, homie. You call my phone, we'll have a conversation.
Now let me paint the picture. If you and me are friends and my child comes over to swim with your children and my child drowns in your pool at your house under your supervision, I don't care that my child died from drowning itself. Why were you not watching him the second he got into the pool? And the same thing could be said about this Takeoff situation. From what we've seen, Jay Prince is one of the most respected guys in hip-hop. He squashed the beef between Drake and Kanye. He also got Almighty J's chain back after a snatch. And he seems to be a very well-connected person in the hip-hop industry. The lack of compassion and empathy portrayed by Jay Prince caused many to believe he had a hand in Takeoff's death. And when Takeoff was killed, we all saw the chilling video of Jay Prince Jr. walking by Takeoff's body like he meant nothing. And when Jay Prince Jr. was questioned about it, he said his hands were dirty with blood and he would go clean himself. I'm not a strong believer of sacrifices, especially when there's a conspiracy involved. But the way these events have transpired at a private party in Houston full of members that was known by the Prince family doesn't make the story any better. In an idealistic world, we view Takeoff as a public figure, the breadwinner, meaning he should be protected, and if he was at a private party, that means that at least a few people there should have known someone and know who killed him. We've all heard the phrase, check in, referring to rappers when they go out of a town to another city. Now to some people, this seems like friendly-like protection, but to the vast majority of people, checking in sounds like extortion. It's like, you're in my city, we know you got ops out here, come give my artist a feature, or pay me $10K so I don't send you home in a body bag. We've all seen the stories of P&B Rock and Pop Smoke. P&B went to get some food with his girl and was killed by an opportunistic family, nothing to do with gang ties as it may seem. Pop Smoke flew out to LA to finish an album and was killed by a group of teens who wanted an easy come up. In all these situations, two things were common. They were all out of town and unprotected. Yes, Jay Prince is getting slandered, even though he wasn't there. But Houston is a city, and after this Takeoff loss, I guarantee you, nobody wants to go there. This incident was a very bad look on the Mob Ties brand, because although they claim that this was a mishap and shouldn't have happened, Jay Prince is well known. So the fact that a murder happened in his city at an event where his son was at, and on top of that, there was visual proof of his son walking by Takeoff's body like he didn't know him. What more proof do we need? They didn't love Takeoff. Now, $1 Million Worth of Game, one of my favorite podcasts, made a very questionable move by having Jay Prince on their platform. From the fan perspective, we wanted to hear, "I'm sorry for what happened to Takeoff. That should never happen. We as Mob Ties are sorry." This whole interview was just straight deflection. We weren't involved. Quavo should never gone to a fight in the first place, which led to the incident. This was the most low energy $1 Million Worth of Game interview I've ever seen. But what I will say is this. This is a very sensitive topic, so I expected that. This interview was simply a whole lot of nothing being said. Under every Jay Prince post, fans are commenting, "Long live Takeoff," or "Long live the Rocket Man," simply making known that this situation will not blow away in the wind, as hip-hop fans want someone, even if they're associated with Jay Prince, to be held responsible. Now here's where the story gets interesting. The alleged killer, DJ Pat, who was arrested in the killing of Takeoff, was bonded out by an anonymous person for $1 million. The bond was paid by someone who we don't even know. Days after the incident happened, this DJ was caught with loads of money and an emergency passport, proving some sort of guilt. Because if you didn't do anything, why are you fleeing the country? This interview is so contradicting. In this interview, Jay Prince said multiple times that he had love for Takeoff, but is threatening Offset and throwing shots at Quavo for getting into an argument that led to his death. It's like these guys have no sympathy for Takeoff's family. The question many people are asking is, why was $1 Million Worth of Game and not any other platform? Fans feel that if the Prince family went to DJ Academics or even Say Cheese, these guys would not beat around the bush for nothing, and they would have to answer the hard-hitting questions. In this interview, they were all saying a whole bunch of nothing, and Jay Prince Jr., the son, walked by Takeoff's body because he got blood on him. Right. So you mean to tell me, if this was your brother, dad, cousin, or friend, you would have walked by and done the exact same thing? I'm not believing that. The whole incident is direct reflection of the whole family integrity, where one represents all, and as all represents one. This so-called interview wasn't even an interview. It was just a whole bunch of cliche sayings and sneak dissing to keep it real. An hour of time went by, and no accountability or sympathy shown to Takeoff's family and other individuals around them. I feel like the Prince family forgets that Takeoff was the glue to the Migos. It's not like he was an artist with a solo career. He was literally the backbone of the Migos who died on Halloween night in New York City. A lot of rappers have passed throughout the year, but none of these rappers quite hit like this because we as a younger generation of hip-hop grew up listening to the Migos, so we feel like one of our own people have died. Let's really analyze this. 3 months later, Takeoff has passed away, the alleged killer is out on bond, and it seems like there has been zero progression in this case. It's like you don't want to believe that there was an extortion or a sacrifice that happened, but with the way things have been playing out, the lack of sympathy being portrayed by the family, I wouldn't be surprised. If you're interested in more content, make sure you watch The Suge Knight Torture That Found in Death Row, tagged above. Cultural impact of Death Row included artists like Tupac, who used their gangster persona and audience to bring attention to the cruel inner city life with real life issues such as poverty, violence, and the worst of all, police brutality, things that many people of color faced on a daily basis. Now before Suge Knight, turning to the hip-hop boogeyman, Suge Knight seemed to have a decent childhood. He grew up in LA, he was a football player at UNLV with offers to play on the San Francisco 49ers and threw those opportunities away to be in the streets. So you may be wondering, how did Suge Knight enter the music industry? Let's just say, Suge saved the life of a well-known R&B artist and got hired as their security in return. In 1989, Suge Knight saved Bobby Brown's life, as there was an alleged murder for hire on him. As crazy as it sounds, he boldly told the hitman to back off, and they listened. They had no choice but to listen. Suge Knight was that intimidating. This incident jump-started Suge Knight's career as Bobby Brown's security, as he went around the country with Bobby going to different record labels, clubs, and music venues, and started to realize the amount of money the artists were losing to these publishing deals, which essentially gives record labels a percentage of whatever the artist made from the song simply by uploading the song and having the name associated with it.